How can we start to think about these things and regulate them in a reasonable way where it's clear enough and you don't have to engage in a very highly subjective analysis, which only today, Ethereum and Bitcoin pass. But is there something in between where we can have a regulatory framework where this question is not quite as critical, where you address the information asymmetries problem in both agencies? So it ends up in the CFTC. There is a disclosure obligation for folks that want to trade it, maybe for folks who have issued it. Some of the framework bills try to do this. Everyone has a certain level of information. So some of these really tough questions around, is this decentralized? What's it mean to be decentralized? Have a lot less importance if everyone is getting getting the adequate information that they need to make a choice and which instruments to invest in.
Hinman's back. How wild is this? He's come slithering out from under his rock, making a public appearance talking crypto policy on stage. But the things he was saying, the gumption of this guy, he makes the statement that under current regulations, if you caught this in that opening, only Ethereum and Bitcoin meet the mark. I guess what Judge Torres says doesn't matter. Judge Torres ruled that XRP is not a security. Well, here comes Hinman, trying to help the United States bring sensible regulatory clarity to this market. It's really wild here. And beyond that, he's dropping wheeze like it's 2020, right? He's talking about the SEC, the CFTC, and he's saying, we think this and we need to do that. Like, why is it a we? I would not be surprised if this guy got an appointment, unfortunately, either to the SEC or probably worse yet, and probably is where he will go, to the CFTC. CFTC is probably going to get regulations over cryptocurrencies, Bitcoin, XRP, Ethereum, your general pure crypto, pure commodities. But let's be honest here, he can't do anything to stop this train. It's full speed ahead. But just the fact he would be involved in any sort of way is frightening and ridiculous. But unfortunately, I think it is where we find ourselves. I bet you he does get an appointment here at one of these regulatory agencies. And it just goes to show there's no justice in this world, unfortunately. He's coming for round two to try to, do what he can for his own interests at the end of the day. During this conference, we had David Schwartz on stage. So, we had the dark side here with Hinman, and we have the good guys on stage too with David Schwartz. And he made the statement, mass enterprise adoption. I think that's where we are now. And I think he's absolutely right. We have the regulations getting ready to roll out to clear the way for people really to use and adopt this technology. Banking, finance, really everyone, probably your tech companies too. They're getting ready to jump in here and start doing a lot of stuff. It's going to be really exciting. And I did a Patreon video last night where I was talking to everyone. And I said, we have two shots here to dominate in a significant way beyond just payments. And it's institutional DeFi. It's interesting because Ethereum and some of these other networks, they've run away with kind of the regular DeFi that we use. But probably your BlackRocks, Charles Schwab's, your Fidelities, they're probably not going to jump in there and use, Sushi Swap and stuff like this. They're going to want custom built, institutional grade DeFi. And that's something that Ripple could provide and leverage the XRP ledger. And so it really comes down to, can they do it? Is it successful? Can they actually build these systems that people want to use? Because if they do, they could run away with institutional DeFi in a big way, and also RWAs. There's going to be a lot of demand there for RWAs. This is the perfect time. XRP is the perfect tool. Is Ripple the perfect company to roll out these solutions? Well, they very well may be. That's why I've said I'm going to hold back 20% of my XRP holdings for the long term to see what they do here. If this was 2019, I would tell you they're going to dominate. They're going to take this whole market. Now I'm at a spot where I have to see them execute. But we got a real shot here. They could get it done. And this is great because we're not playing from a position of catch-up where we're trying to catch the institution. This market for institutional DeFi and for RWAs, RWA systems, it's wide open and for the taking. And if they can do that, if they can take over that market and we see mass enterprise adoption using Ripple systems, leveraging the XRP ledger, the kind of value we could derive from that is unimaginable, in my opinion. SEC, they've acknowledged an amendment to the NASDAQ 19B4 filing to allow for in-kind creation and redemption of iShares ETF for the Bitcoin ETF. This is really, really cool because what does this mean? This means you can redeem in Bitcoin in kind. You got $10,000 worth of iShares ETF, you can actually pull your crypto out. And if they kind of set the stage here, this is a true integration with traditional finance because you can hold your funds in these ETFs. And for whatever reason, if you want to pull all or part of your money out to the blockchain to safety, you can do that. That is a game changer. You don't just have to settle out to cash and take that tax liability. You could actually pull your money and settle an actual Bitcoin. And in the future, if they do something similar for XRP, Ethereum, and other cryptocurrencies, we'll probably have the same functionality. That could be massive. That's a true integration with traditional finance. I'd love to see that. Back to this Ondo Finance presentation we saw today. It was announced that Ondo Finance expands institutional reach with OUSG development on the XRP ledger. That's what we like to see. Ripple partnering with people to do novel and exciting things, leveraging XRPL is the base layer here. Ondo Finance is launching Ondo short-term U.S. government treasuries. Should be launched within 6 months. Why is this a big deal? Because I remember the first time I heard about taking treasuries on chain, I was like, that's not that exciting. It actually is. This allows institutional investors to have access to a compliant yield-bearing U.S. Treasury fund. So in this talk, David says, look, these institutions, they're not looking for something risky with huge returns, right? They want something safe, but better than what they have right now. So just as safe, but really a better system. And this is why it's better. It allows for 24/7 minting and redemption. So if you're sitting there and you have your money in treasuries, you don't have to, sell those treasuries, wait for it to settle, do a wire transfer. You're going to be able to, with a system like this, if you need cash, if you need value now, you're going to be able to redeem that and probably get RLUSD in your digital wallet ready to spend today on whatever it is you need it for. This is instant liquidity at any moment in time. That is a game changer. It's so much different than anything we have. Not only can you get the liquidity instantly, but you can deploy it instantly wherever in the world you need it. That is a big difference. And this is something that both institutions and I think big time regular investors are going to like as well. That is totally different than the system we have. Big news. 21 Shares has filed an XRP ETF with SIBO. So first we saw like Canary file and some other ones. We're working up the chain, right? We're getting bigger issuers trying to get an XRP ETF across the finish line, and I think it's going to happen. And ultimately, we're going to see BlackRock descend here and also file one. Again, we started with kind of the smaller issuers. We're working our way up here. Best believe all the big ones are going to jump in here. It's a top 3 cryptocurrency. We're going to see it eventually. Eleanor Terrett says the following, very noteworthy that the SEC has acknowledged Grayscale's Solana filing. And that doesn't sound like much, like big deal, they acknowledged it. But this is the way the SEC works, right? Like if they don't want to deal with you, they just don't acknowledge your filing. And so it ain't going through. That's not the case here. Looks like we're making progress under this new administration. The Gensler SEC allegedly asked the prior filer to withdraw their application because they were saying, you know what, we think Solana is an illegal security. This really may be a good sign also for other assets like XRP, that the SEC is willing to expand throughout the altcoin market, and they should. It's not their business if something is a good investment, a bad investment. Is it safe? Is there demand for it there? And if it is, they should let it go through. As long as it's compliant, XRP ETF would be fully compliant. So would a Solana ETF. This is a further expansion of crypto integrating with traditional finance. Absolutely massive. This is even better. Breaking. Ripple CEO Brad Garlinghouse is expected to be appointed as an advisor to the White House Crypto Council, according to the New York Post. So yeah, we might get Hinman back in the mix, but this ain't 2020, people. This ain't the old days. This is going to go forward. If we get a post like that, Brad Garlinghouse as an advisor to the White House and the Crypto Council, it's going to be wild. And I think it's going to happen. We've been hearing this rumor. It seems to be getting stronger and stronger. Ripple obviously has an in here with the current administration, and probably a lot of that has to do with their big spending and their ability to influence the midterms. Best believe that there's a lot of power there. And this is going to be a big move, I think, for Ripple, but also for altcoins in general. And all the businesses that want to build capability on top of the blockchain, we want someone like Brad in that advisory council coming up with real solutions to help this industry move forward. Mike Novogratz, totally pivoted, saying, you know what, XRP Ledger is a powerhouse. It's got a great community. He's been very anti-XRP in the past. This is part of mass adoption. People change their minds. We've seen this within Bitcoin as well, right? Michael Saylor used to be against Bitcoin. So did BlackRock, Larry Fink. He thought it was nonsense, and now he's a big proponent of it. This is how it works. We saw this also with the internet. People thought it was crazy, it was stupid, and then all of a sudden it put people out of business, and everyone's jumping on board. This is just the general, technological cycle here. The naysayers will all become the biggest fans at the end of the day. I think he pushed it a little too far. I mean, again, we have to see Ripple execute. They're doing good so far with RLUSD. We're seeing great upgrades with the XRP ledger. We got a real shot here, but it's about finishing. It's about getting people to adopt your technology. They can get it done now, but they have to do it, in my opinion. Not for this bull run, it's not going to matter. XRP is going to do what it does. But, looking out 4 or 5 years from here, they got to really execute on these plans. So far, looking pretty good. Lastly, we see here crypto meme guy. Look at this. Man, how are we dealing with these guys again? Let me see if I can move this over for you. Can you believe this? Back to this ETH stuff. I didn't expect them to go after Hinman. I didn't expect them to go after Joe Lubin, but the fact that this guy is back at, crypto balls at the White House and, speaking at public events about crypto policy is just outrageous. But I have a feeling we haven't heard the last of Mr. Hinman here. I think we're going to be hearing more of him as we go forward. But again, he can't rain on our parade. The train has left the station here, and it is full speed ahead. Big shout out to XRP Meme Guy. Does a great job with these memes. As always, please like, please subscribe. The revolution will be televised right here on Jungle Link. What is up, good people? Jungle Link here. I want to invite you to join my Patreon. It's $5.99 a month, but I plan to stock this with a ton of value here. Weekly newsletters, in-depth analysis, interviews, stuff that doesn't fit necessarily on the main YouTube channel, but I think you're going to really like. Check out the link below, and we'll see you there.